What's up everyone? Welcome back again to the Angry Birds Epic No Attacking Challenge. Today we fight our way to the Mountain Pig Castle, where we'll take on the stronghold of our 4th egg. We'll definitely face some interesting obstacles along the way, so we'll have to use some unique strategies to win. Before we start, if you haven't watched parts 1 or 2 yet, I would highly recommend watching those videos first. Links are in the description. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. But now, let's continue our epic journey to the Snowy Mountains. In the last episode, we got the blue pig key from WizPig, so before going towards the Snowy Mountains, I decided to take on some optional levels locked behind some blue pig gates, which include Banjo Bayou 1 and 2, and Eastern Cobalt Plateau 5 and 6. Banjo Bayou 1 was a pretty easy level with some pygmy shooters and a zombie pig. Funny story, I actually forgot to change my birds' classes, so I took on this level with the same classes I used against WizPig. While this probably wasn't the best strategy, we still won, and we leveled up to level 22. Banjo Bayou 2 is a more challenging level with a Witch Doctor and a Voodoo Berserker, who deals heavy damage and heals by 50% of the damage dealt. To counter this, I used the Princess to make all the pigs attack the Knight, who shielded himself from the attacks. I also used the Lightning Bird to remove the Doctor's healing effects, and after a while we finally beat those guys. Moving over to Eastern Cobalt Plateau, the first, or I guess technically the 5th level, features a guard captain, who can apply a shield to all of the pigs, which we have to dispel with Chuck. His Ironclad ability also halves damage from weak attacks, which is annoying for us since we mostly rely on classes like the Lightning Bird and Cannoneer to deal little damage, but eventually, after a bunch of turns later, he'll finally go down. Eastern Cobalt Plateau 6 was a wave battle. The first wave has a guard captain and a corporal pig, which took a long time to go down. The second wave had 2 lightning pigs that nearly killed us all. Oh, and there was also a random bomb for some reason. I'm not really sure why. But after beating wave 2, we arrive on the final wave that has another guard captain and a royal guard. The royal guard is super tanky, and pair that with his Ironclad ability and the guard captain's shields, killing that guy took forever. After beating those optional levels, and getting some rewards that probably weren't worth my time, we head to Bamboo Forest to get to the mountains. The first level introduces the Ninja Pigs, who have the same ability as Prince Porky, preventing them from taking more than a set amount of damage per attack. But also, just like Prince Porky, they're hardly a threat in this challenge. And after beating that random level, we get our 4th egg. Huh, well that was easier than I expected. Oh, well, that's not good. So, the Ninja Pigs set up an ambush and captured Red, Bomb, and Chuck, the latter of which I'm the most concerned about, as the Lightning Bird has been our main class for this entire challenge. We need to head through a bamboo forest and rescue our birds with only Matilda and the Blues, and this means our only available attack replacement is the Rogues' Cupcake Trap. But is it possible to beat Bamboo Forest 2 with only Cupcake Trap? Well, yes actually. The levels are designed to be beatable with just 2 birds, and the strategies used in this challenge aren't that different from the normal strategies used to take out the ninjas. Just spam Cupcake Trap to make the pigs take damage from attacking, and Royal Aid to heal. Bamboo Forest 3 is a wave battle that has a couple of red ninjas, and they have the support ability Flash Bomb that can make our attacks miss. So you're probably thinking, well, you aren't attacking them, so it shouldn't be a problem, right? Well, the answer to that question is yes and no. The effect itself doesn't do anything to us, but the problem with the red ninjas is that they love to spam their flash bombs instead of actually attacking us. And if they aren't attacking us, they aren't taking damage from the cupcake traps. And if they aren't taking damage from the cupcake traps, they aren't being defeated. So while this level is super easy to beat, actually beating it is way more tedious than it has any right of being. Thankfully, Bamboo Forest 4 is super short and sweet. This level has 2 Ninja Bowmen who attack all birds, and a Mandarin who attacks all birds and lowers our offense. I used the Druid instead of the Princess so I could heal all birds, and since the pigs attack multiple birds, they get hit by multiple cupcake traps and go down faster. After that, we confront the ninjas and Bomb blows up the cage, freeing himself and rejoining the party. Bomb made a grand re-entrance on Bamboo Forest 5, whereas Cannoneer's counter worked wonders with the Rogues' Cupcake Trap as well as their Sticky Goo attack. Though, this level has a Will-O-Wisp, and like the red ninjas, he tends to spam his dodge effect instead of actually attacking, which was annoying again. Bamboo Forest 6 is probably the hardest Bamboo Forest level for this challenge. It introduces the Master Ninja, who can deal a good chunk of damage to all birds in a single attack, and his attack has a 65% chance to remove all helpful effects from our birds, which is bad when we're relying on counters and cupcake traps. To make matters worse, the Ninja Master also can apply a healing effect to himself, and in this battle, he's grouped with 2 red ninjas that can cause our counterattacks to miss. Now, I actually managed to beat this level first try, but it wasn't easy. I had to get good enough RNG so my support abilities wouldn't get dispelled too much, and then our counterattacks wouldn't miss too much. My main strategy was to apply Bomb's damage debuff to the Master Ninja so he wouldn't deal too much damage to us, and also use Sticky Goo with Thorny Vine to deal extra damage between turns. Eventually, we beat the Master Ninja, but there was still 1 red ninja left, and I kid you not, it took over a minute just to kill this one guy. I officially hate all the red ninjas. But finally, after beating that level, we rescued Chuck, and I honestly feel bad for him considering this is the second time he's been captured in this game. With the Lightning Bird back, we beat Bamboo Forest 7, where Chuck showed the red ninjas and Will-O-Wisps no mercy. Bamboo Forest 8 is a wave battle, and the first wave just has 1 Shogun Pig. By himself, he's not much of a threat, though his Ironclad ability makes him harder to take out. Wave 2 also wasn't much of a threat, with just a Mandarin and a few Minion Pigs. But the final wave is another Shogun, and he's able to apply a buff to all the pigs, lets them deal powerful critical hits. But I saved the Rage Chili, and I took out most of the minions at the speed of light before they had a chance to attack us, then we could dispel the Shogun's buff and eventually defeat him. And after that battle, we get level 23 and are about to rescue Red, but then Prince Porky returns another hot air balloon and takes Red up to the sky, and even occasionally drowns him in the sea. That's actually pretty dark. We then take on Bamboo Forest 9, which is an absolute joke. Just 2 ninja pigs? Really? Well, after beating them, our birds come to the realization that we can't fly, hence why we use the slingshot in regular Angry Birds games. But if we can't fly, then how are we going to rescue Red? Well, remember Professor Pig? I definitely didn't, as we haven't bought any potion recipes from his lab, so I'm trying not to use potions. But he comes up with an idea. He can turn our bird ship into a flying bird ship, but he needs some important machine parts first. To get those parts, we have to backtrack to some previous areas and beat 3 levels. First, we go to Star Reef 8, where we fight a Necromancer and a Frankenpig. I had the Princess make them both attack Bomb, who could tank the hits, and we used counter on all the birds so the Frankenpig would get attacked by all 3 birds when he attacked us. The Necromancer managed to summon a zombie, but he was no match for our counter. Next, we go to Eastern Slingshot Woods, where we fight a Witch Doctor and a Voodoo Berserker. This is actually kind of scary because I didn't have Red to shield us from their attacks that deal a lot of damage while also healing themselves, so we had to rely on the Cannoneer's damage debuffs. Also, we finally managed to win. We unlocked some Mighty Eagle potions, which are completely useless to us. Finally, we take on Golden Plains 4. This level had some pirates, so we played more offensively, but it was way easier than the previous 2 levels. After that, we bring the 3 machine parts to Professor Pig, and he makes the flying bird ship. We fly up to Prince Porky and rescue Red. Prince Porky then retreats to Mountain Pig Castle, so we have to chase after him in our airship. Although it does beg the question, if the birds have an airship, why don't they just fly straight to the castle? Well, whatever. We take on our first airship level, Volcano Cliffs, with Red back on the team, and he helps to protect us from the Lightning Pig and the Pilot Pig, thus ensuring our victory. We then have to make our way through the Snowy Mountains. Before we get to those levels, we take on an optional level called the White Whale. This level has some pygmies and the return of Piggiana Jones. There's not much to say here really, and I beat it by playing offensively. The most noteworthy thing about this level is that I never understood why it's called the White Whale as a kid. I somehow never noticed that the rock formation it takes place on looks like a whale. Now the Snowy Mountains are interesting because the levels there are split into 3 areas: Canyonland, Snowy Peak, and Winter Wonderland. The first level we face is Canyonland 1. This level has another variation of the fruit called a Frosthog, and they deal heavy damage to one bird and poison them, so our lot and the Princess make them target Tinky Bird like Red, and then heal away the poison. Prince Porky then sends out 2 pirates we have to fight. We take on the first one in Canyonland 2. Although not before getting rudely interrupted by an ad, which I was starting to get more of at this point, which was annoying. But the level itself was super easy with the Druid, Samurai, and Lightning Bird. Just make sure you dispel the pirates' offense buffs. Canyonland 3 was a wave battle that actually introduces a ton of new pigs. Wave 1 introduces the Snow Pigs, and they're actually really bad for this challenge. their attacks have a good chance to remove our helpful effects, so that makes shields, counters, and cupcake traps practically worthless against them. So instead we rely on playing offensively with Bomb as Pirate class, while using the Princess for redirectional support. Wave 2 introduces the Ice Pygmies and the Frost Pig. The Ice Pygmies are basically just the Forest Pygmies, except their attacks can remove our helpful effects as well. Meanwhile, the Frost Pig is an attack that deals light damage to all birds, but blocks all of our rage abilities. And unlike the other Wizard Pigs, he doesn't actually have a support ability, and instead he just has a multi-hit attack, which can actually deal a good chunk of damage, so be careful. Finally, the third wave introduces the Chieftain and the Ice Shaman. The Chieftain can heal all pigs after 2 turns, while the Ice Shaman can instantly heal 1 pig, and their Mimic attack puts an effect on the targeted bird that steals any healing that bird receives, and the pigs are healed instead. Be sure to have the Princess to remove this effect. This wave took forever due to the pigs that kept healing themselves, but eventually we used Speed of Light for the win. We then move on to Snowy Peak, and the first level has us fight 2 Ice Knights, who, once again, have attacks that are able to remove our helpful effects, which is a common theme in the Snowy Mountains if you haven't noticed already. The Ice Knights can also protect themselves with a super strong shield, so use Chuck to dispel it, and then have Bomb attack to bypass their Ironclad ability. After that, we get level 24 and take on the second pirate at Snowy Peak 2. This level is actually pretty scary, as there's a pilot pig that can lower our offense, and a big pirate that can deal heavy damage to all of our birds. So I brought in the Tricksters to remove the defense drops, and the Druid to heal us all. It got pretty close, but it just barely worked. And just like that, we already arrived to the Mountain Pig Castle, but I'm not going to take it on just yet. We still have all the optional levels in Winter Wonderland, and going forward, I want to attempt every optional level we run into. Winter Wonderland 1 is a wave battle that's completely full of snow pigs. Like, seriously, aside from a chieftain on Wave 3, this level is nothing but snow pigs. Wave 2 is especially scary as it has the most snow pigs, and the damage from all those guys adds up fast. Be sure to have the Princess to redirect all the pigs if a bird is at low health, and use Speed of Light to help clean up all the pigs. Winter Wonderland 2 just has 3 groups of Ice Pygmies. Like most Pygmies, they can be annoying if they decide to keep summoning more and more Pygmies, so try to weaken them and finish them all off at the Speed of Light. Winter Wonderland 3 is a wave battle with some snow pigs and pygmies, as well as a frost hog and an ice shaman. Keep using the Princess to force all the pigs to attack the bird with most health, and then heal them ASAP. Winter Wonderland 4 has an ice shaman and a bunch of pygmies. This level is really tedious, as the ice shaman kept healing the pygmies and kept summoning more and more pygmies. The best trick was to take out the Shaman of Chuck first, then focus on all the pygmies. After beating this level, we unlocked a new thing that I honestly forgot even existed in this game, the Ancient Relic. This lets us fuse legendary set items into ancient set items with more power. Now, will we ever use the Ancient Relic in this challenge? Well, I doubt it, but hey, you never know. Finally, Winter Wonderland 5 has a boss fight against the Primeval Frosthog. He is stacked with a ton of health, and can deal more damage than any other pig we've faced thus far, and can stun the targeted bird for 3 whole turns. So how did I beat this guy? Well, I recall the strategy I used against some of the bosses from the last video. By using the Blues' Cupcake Trap, we can force the boss to keep attacking Red, and have Red defend himself to keep him alive. The boss will attack Red and take some damage, then we can heal Red up to full health before the boss can attack him again with Matilda. After repeating this for 5 minutes, the boss will eventually go down. After beating all the levels in Winter Wonderland, we unlock a class shop for the Blues' Spies and Matilda's Priestess. The Spies used to be one of my favorite classes in this game, but in this challenge they aren't all that helpful, especially when they get outclassed by the Rogues. As for Matilda's Priestess, it's normally the best class for Matilda by far. However, it relies on attacking pigs to apply an effect that heals us when we attack that pig, so its healing is unreliable, especially when compared to the Druid and Princess. I actually decided to test the Priestess out in the Volcano Island dungeon. It was alright here, but we came close to dying multiple times, so I'm probably not going to rely on it much. As for the dungeon itself, it's mostly just ninjas, so it was pretty easy, and the final boss, Little Ninja, isn't a complete pushover. What isn't a pushover is the optional boss of Bamboo Forest, the Ronin. He has a unique gimmick where he'll use an attack that completely empties the Rage Chili, and then he'll use an attack that deals a ton of damage, but its damage is decreased based on how full our Rage Chili is. Normally, you're meant to attack him as much as possible to fill up the Rage Chili and survive his attacks, but we can't do that. Instead, we rely on, you guessed it, the old strat of the rogues, knight, and princess. Red is just able to tank a powerful attack, but then Ronin will use his anti-rage chili attack, dealing extra damage. So to ensure Red's survival, we had the Ronin use his weaker attack on the other birds a couple of times. Thanks to Ronin dealing loads of damage to his charge attack, the Cupcake traffic could take him out faster than I expected. The final optional level of today is another dungeon, Floating Hog House. This dungeon is full of annoying pygmies and shamans, who, as usual, are way more tedious and hard to beat. Let's just skip ahead to the final wave, where we fight the Voodoo Doctor boss. His attack deals decent damage to all birds, and blocks all of our rage abilities. He can also apply a healing effect to all pigs, so make sure to have Chuck dispel it, but overall, this dungeon was also relatively easy. Now it's finally time to rescue our 4th egg. I went into Mountain Pig Castle with a Samurai, Lightning Bird, and Druid, which are the same classes we used in the last castle. You'll soon see why, but for now, let's go over the first 4 waves of this castle. Wave 1 is easy, but it takes a while since the Chieftain kept healing everyone, and the Pig Guards empty a Rage Chili, so we can't use Speed of Light to take them all out. Instead, we rely on Thorny Vines to deal additional damage between turns, which eventually takes out all the pigs. Wave 2 has a Frost Pig and some Snow Pigs, and to my surprise, this is the only wave in this entire castle that has pigs and dispel our helpful effects. I was originally worried that we wouldn't be able to make it to the final wave with the Samurai, but spoiler alert, we did on our first attempt. Oh, and wave 2 is also super easy as the pigs barely did any damage. Moving on. Wave 3, on the other hand, was more challenging. It has a Frost Pig and an Ice Shaman, the latter of which is bad because we don't have a way to remove his Mimic effect, and since we need Depentel to use our support ability, we're basically forced to heal the pigs every turn. The best trick is to save your Rage Chili for this wave, and use it to hopefully take out the Shaman. Unfortunately, I ended up taking out the Frost Pig first, so the Shaman took forever to kill since he kept healing himself. Wave 4 is a weird wave. It's just a bunch of bombs, and don't even deal that much damage. Now I actually decided to use Matilda's medicine on this wave to remove the Mimic effects and heal my birds, but looking back, it probably would have been better if I just saved the Rage Chili for the final wave. Speaking of which, the final wave puts us up against not 1, but 2 bosses, Prince Porky and Wizpig. Instead of Power-Up Shroom, Wizpig has access to the ability Dark Energy, which is basically a stronger version of the Mage's Shock Shield. However, keep in mind that Prince Porky can increase Wizpig's offense with Tit for Tat, so you'll need to have Chuck dispel it. You also want to equip Chuck with a weapon that increases the chances of dispelling helpful effects. Thanks to the Druid and Samurai, you shouldn't have to worry about dying, and you should be able to use Chuck's Speed of Light to dish out good damage. Prince Porky goes down pretty easily, but Wizpig can still heal from attacking you, which makes him harder to knock out. To make matters worse, this level also has more annoying, infinitely respawning bombs, which the Lightning Bird's Lightning Fast will sometimes make us target instead of Wizpig, which gives them more time to attack and heal. I know I keep saying this, but this level was super tedious to beat. Wizpig's health kept going up and down like a never-ending loop. But eventually, with a little bit of luck and some Speeds of Light, you can finally whittle him down to 0 health. So for the first time in this challenge, we actually beat a castle on our first try, and we still didn't have to resort to using any potions or attacks. Wizpig flies off once again, and Prince Porky makes an epic leap onto Wizpig's clouds to hitch a ride over to Pig City. King Pig notices that Wizpig only brought him 1 egg, and starts crying like a baby. Although, to be fair, Wizpig probably could just flew all the eggs over to Pig City right away. You didn't have to leave one at each of the castles just waiting for the birds to show up and take it back. Don't get me wrong, I love this game, but I just feel like the story of it is kinda stupid if you really think about it. But either way, this concludes part 3 of the challenge, and in the next video, I plan to take on King Pig's castle and hopefully rescue our final egg, so stay tuned for that. But thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.